Hey, what's going on, black people? It's Jonga Diop, and today we got to talk about something that's going to break a few bones and hurt a few feelings, but we got to get to the source of this. For some reason, I went back to Twitter and I found that it has become a forum for black male hatred. If you look at the situation of J. Cole, who had a conflict with somebody, he did everything that you would think is correct when you have a problem with someone, and still he was rejected and spit on. So we got to get to the source of why there's so much venom and vitriol when it comes to black men. The first thing is that when it comes to humans, humans learn how to hate things two ways. The first is experience. When you have a negative experience with something, sometimes it can color you so bad to the point where you will see something, or you'll hear something and it brings back that memory and you have those feelings and you still have that vitriol and that hatred for it because your experience with it was absolutely terrible. The second way is that you learn and you are taught that something is bad or negative. Most of us are taught that stealing from other people is bad or negative. So we have a particular relationship with that thing based on what we're taught about it. We're taught that certain things are bad and not to do them and that they're evil, and we choose not to do them. So let's break this down. When it comes to the B-dub, and you know what I'm talking about, the BW, break that down in your mind. There are several reasons why there's so much black male hatred. The first that I'm going to get into is when we talk about fatherlessness and not having a father or having a very poor father. When young girls are given very poor fathers or fathers who are absent, they may not be able to communicate. They may not be able to form proper relationships. They may not even have a proper understanding of black men because they have no basis from which to form any type of identity or understanding of men at all. So this leads to problems with men because they may be prone to doing things that may be debasing and degrading, all for love or for earning male affection that they feel is love, and it could strictly be lust. For her, she may feel that the sex is the love, and she's looking for that love from a father that was never there or that she never got. The second thing, and it gets ugly here, is that we have to talk about rape and being sexually molested. Now, these things have a very drastic effect on her self-esteem, on her feelings of personal security, on the way that she sees males. And it goes especially bad if there was no father in the picture to begin with. So here we have this person who has had a negative experience with black men because she hasn't had a father. She's had a negative experience with males because she may have been raped, molested, or used in some type of way sexually. And then the third thing is that she may have been taught the propaganda that comes from TV. She may have grown up in a household that has no black men in it. So once again, she doesn't have a proper understanding of black men, or she may have witnessed a lot of disrespect when it comes to black men. So let's add these things up together and see where this vitriol comes from. This person may or may not have a great relationship with their father, which means that their relationship with men will be extremely shaky. This person may have been raped and molested. This person may have been shown images on TV that debase and degrade the black man. This person has grown up in a household where black men are not respected and held in high regard and not looked at as authority figures. Matter of fact, male authority may be a threat because all they're accustomed to is female authority. So you add those things together, and that brings the majority of what you're seeing to the forefront. When I do these talks and when I have intimate talks with people who I may or may not know about, their sexuality and their upbringing, two things stand out, and that is when we talk about their sexuality and they come with I'm bisexual or I'm homosexual, I have to ask them, have you been molested? Or what about your father? And 9 times out of 10, those questions are met with the same answer, which is no, my father has not been there, or I had a poor father and guess I was molested. Or I had some type of sexual episode that was a violation of my physical person. And that's where this vitriol comes from. It is these people that we're talking to. 9 times out of 10, we're not speaking to people who grew up in healthy households with a male and a female role model who were not sexually molested. In fact, it is so frequent that I would bet that the rarer thing is to meet a woman who has not been through those things specifically. When I am presented with those things online, when I see these people who spit out this vitriol towards black men, I do research. I go look at her pictures from 2010 and 2011, and I find that most times her father is not present or not in these pictures, and that the father of her child is not present and not in these pictures. So we're not just enduring this thing on her sake, we're repeating a cycle when it comes to these people. So I look at who's saying what are they putting out there, because we're seeing the results of what happened from decisions made in days gone by. People always say, well, why are you always talking about the 60s and the 70s? That's because that's where the problem sprang from. When we decided that we were independent women, quote unquote, and we didn't need black men and that we could put them out of the house, all for this government assistance, we started creating things that led to monsters. And now we have these hyper feminist people who are of absolutely no use to black men whatsoever. A black man can't do anything with a woman that holds him in contempt and continuously disrespects him. You can be as feminist as you want to be. Sure, you can have that bag, you can live that life. But when it comes to dealing with a black man on successful terms, you have to become a success by doing those things, by respecting him and by honoring him, by showing him the basic respect that you show other humans, and God forbid, by showing him the respect and the honor of being your mate for a lifetime. We're seeing people who can't pair bond. We're seeing people who don't understand how to communicate properly. I watched the video where this young girl said that she has 4 ways of dealing with her new boyfriend. All of these ways involve disrespect, yelling, cursing, and physical abuse. So when we get to it, we're talking to people and looking at comments from people who have been abused. Those are the things that decisions gone by have produced. That's the reason for your feminism. That's the reason for your I won't submit conversation. That's the reason for your I believe I'm an alpha male personality, or I believe I'm an alpha female, which is laughable, but let's go forward with it. This is the reason why they are what they are. They're coming from a place of pain and hurt that even they don't understand. In our community, it needs healing. The image of the black male, it needs to be changed. But before we get to that point, we first have to admit that there's a problem. They have to begin to see and admit that this vitriol that they spit is problematic. Because it is indeed, when I see problems that are listed by black men, it is because those things not only exist, but because they're being perpetuated into forever. When we say that you have 8, 9, 10 kids, or that you've been around the block, those things are being perpetuated constantly. Those are factual. I can go get the studies that show this. But when it comes to this vitriol, it's strictly based on emotional hatred and no facts whatsoever. There are no statistics being presented. There's nothing being shown that says that this is coming from a place of analysis and logic. It is strictly emotional slander based on the pain that they've been through. And I don't say these things to constantly try to twist it in and make the pain worse. What I'm saying is that first, before we get to the healing, we have to admit that there is a problem. There is a problem when a grown woman gets on the internet and decides that she's going to take out on all men the very things that have been done on her, and she's going to make problems for other black men based on it. Because these people are slowly destroying our community from the inside, believe it or not. So I'm going to leave that in your hands. Do your research. This is Janga Diop. Peace.